Why, hello there, a nice Tale here. I hope this video finds you very well today. I thank you for tuning in. Today, I'm bringing you a review of something very dramatic looking. This is the Azusa Blade Works Helldorado. And I'm pretty sure this is made for Azusa, like their other knife was made for them by Miguron. It definitely feels very Miguron. In fact, it absolutely feels Miguron. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit because there's some pocket crap in there. And I don't want that on my knife right now while I'm showing it off. Ooh, what is that? Something's stuck on there. Fortunately, it's not under the bearing track, but I will have to get that off later. For now, yes. The Helldorado, quite a interesting spearish harpoon looking thing. It's a pretty cool design, and I have to say, I have really liked this thing. I will link it down below, however. It is currently out of stock. These went pretty fast, and after experiencing it, I'd say for good reason. I'm hoping that they're going to do more, so keep an eye on them, because, to be honest with you, I'm considering getting another one if they do more. This is a really cool and good knife. So, if that's all you need to see, I know I'm stupid by saying that and giving you the opportunity to leave well under the 5-minute mark, which is where it usually really helps to see. Longer engagement is better, longer views. But it's a good knife. I'm not going to screw around with you and say it's not. It's cool, it's good. I'd appreciate it if you'd stick around at least into the 5-minute mark to give me my, view length a little bit of a bump. That'd be great, but that's up to you. Let's get into specs, and then we'll talk about why this thing is so good. 3.5 inches of blade, 7 3/4 overall, about 4 1/4 on handle length, which is actually pretty good ratios. Usually it's like 3.5 to 4.5. This is 3.5 to 4 1/4, which is pretty solid on the actual blade length. I didn't even realize that it was going to be that decent ratios. It's hard to tell with the way the shape of everything is here, but apparently it's quite good. Our resident comparison knives, the Civivi Elementum and Conspirator respectively, for the small and full-size knife. Comparison. Yeah, it actually comes in under the Conspirator, despite having basically 1-for-1 the same amount of blade, but it's got considerably less handle, which is honestly never a bad thing. Where it does not come in under the Conspirator, however, is thickness. She chunky. She quite chunky. She apparently. Contoured micarta on this one. There was some G10 options as well. But I fortunately was able to get the one I wanted with this gray PVD and contoured micarta, blue micarta. I think there was a black micarta, there was black G10 maybe. I think there was a two-tone G10, that was cool. And one had a satin. Yeah, there were a couple different options, and they were pretty nice. Grip length comparison to our resident 2 AA batteries. These, you're not getting quite 2 AA batteries, you're getting about 1 3/4 of a AA battery in your basic grip, but you have a large choke up position, which is going to give you more than the AA batteries, which is absolutely 100% very functional and very comfortable. So, no problem whatsoever there. .55, basically an ounce an inch, which is pretty darn good ratios in my book. So no complaints there either. Honestly, I don't have much of any complaint. I mean, I kind of wish Miguron would use a slightly different micarta. It's not like the top end micarta, but it's good. It's nice and comfortable and soft. It's just not like the super high quality stuff that Kaiser or Vosti use. T8 pocket clip, T8 body screws. It's T8 all around. There is, yeah, that's the end of the specs, and there's, oh wait, no it's not. What the hell are you doing? Pull your head out of your ear. 560 thousandths. Okay, so it's decently over half an inch. It is a reasonably thick knife. Blade stock, about 125 thousandths. It's got a pretty tall grind. And it comes down to a reasonably thin edge. Nothing like completely out of this world, but 13 thousandths, that's pretty good. It gets down there pretty thin. It definitely cuts. It is a pretty slicey knife. And it has actually a pretty good edge on it. Slightly better than I think some other companies. I will give Miguron their due there. They've done a good job on this. It's not like super bitey, but no, that's got a pretty fine feeling edge. It's good. Alright, so now that we're done with the specs completely, well, nice, the 6-minute mark. Let's talk about why this knife is so interesting. Aside from just looks. It kind of looks crazy, but it looks really cool. It's got this really nasty sort of piercing clip point blade, but with how thin it gets and how low the belly gets on it, you've got a decent height. You've got big, crazy jimping that actually, since most of what you're going to be interacting with is, back here, it's a little tighter back here, and it's pretty comfortable. Even up here, it's kind of softened a lot, and it's not the worst thing to interact with. I wouldn't want to push down super hard into it, but you can. It would be pretty okay in gloves. It has, with this choil, ton of control and access to the tip. The tip is low enough to use quite nicely. It has a very functional blade shape, despite it being very aggressive and crazy looking. I will say the only complaint I have is the sharpening choil, or the plunge grind, not the sharpening choil. The sharpening choil and finger choil is amazing. It's very hard to tell, if not downright impossible, for it to tell where the actual plunge grind is. There's like no discernible line there. I can't tell where it stops. Maybe it goes all the way to the edge. I think it probably stops closer to being up here. And it just naturally tapers just because the blade continues to drop so much. It's just really hard to tell. I'm thinking it's probably about up here. So it should be amazing, but maybe it hits the edge. It's really difficult to tell. I don't think so, because it doesn't really look like it continues. It looks like it pretty much drops there. So maybe about here. Which, I mean, that's more than the entire life of the knife. Yeah, I don't think you're going to have too much to worry about it. And the stop pins are attached to the blade. In fact, you can see them. They're up front, garage stop pins right there. So, yeah. Do whatever you want with the blade. Now, it is thumb stud actuation only, and these round thumb studs look kind of strange, right? They have a lot of bowl on them. They're like, oh, I'm going to slip off, but they're tall enough that, no, you don't. It's pretty easy to interface with and pretty easy to use. No complaints there whatsoever. Now, the hidden gem of this knife. What could possibly be a hidden gem of this knife? And the reason why it's not a budget knife. Everything else says, oh, this should be a budget knife. Except it is in Vanax. The basically corrosion-proof, usually very expensive knife steel. Yes, this is a knife that is technically under $100 in Vanax. I have never seen Vanax approach anything under like the $350 mark. Not even close. Like you don't usually see it until you hit a $350 mark. This is under $100, just barely, but under $100 in Vanax blade steel. Yes. For the love of all that is holy, yes. That is a win. Where is all that? The hell's in there? That's just really cool. That gives people who don't want to spend or don't agree with spending the kind of money that normally you would require to spend to see Vanax to allow them to get a chance of experiencing this blade steel. And Vanax is good. Like, Vanax is really good. It's basically corrosion proof. It's got pretty solid edge retention. It's definitely still in the same realm of like S35, I believe. And it's acceptably tough. It's got a pretty good balance. It's maybe not quite Magna Cut, but it's even more corrosion resistant, and it's definitely doing its own thing. It's also pretty expensive usually. Or it seems to like be more expensive than the average super steel you see up on those tiers. This is really cool. It also, I don't believe it requires quite as high of a heat treat as some other steels. I mean, I don't 100% know what the heat treat of Migron on this is. I know that they do tend to do some of their steels a little bit low. But I think if this is like 60 to 61, that's pretty much right where you want Vanax. I think you actually get anything, and you might actually lose a little bit of something by taking it up higher than that. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not an expert, and even I don't have all... I'm a layman when it comes to steel in general, but I don't have a lot of experience in Vanax. I only have a couple knives in it. We're seeing more now, which is very nice, but yeah, I've never even sharpened a knife in Vanax. I don't know what it's going to be like, but it's pretty cool to be able to get a knife at this price point and see that steel on it. It's pretty amazing, honestly. Hello, dog. So, moving on from there. Oh, the blade, except for the Vanax, is completely sterile, too. The Azusa Blade Works logo is right there. It is sort of like just a bird, which looks pretty darn good. Love the low branding. As I said, I wouldn't mind seeing a slightly higher quality micarta, like some of the stuff that Kaiser uses, but this is it's got that sort of soft feel. It's still very comfortable. It's still very nice. It's very thick, and it gives you traction. It's still really good. It's just, I do like that, though, the Norplex or whatever stuff for micarta that Vosteed and Kaiser use a little more regularly. But this is good. This is beating out a lot of other cheap companies, Vanax. Or not Vanax, micarta. It's been definitely the Vanax, but yeah. Two steel screws holding it together with a G10 backspacer in there. There is a lanyard hole in part of the knife, and it's not really being prioritized over the clip. You don't want the clip up there in general. The clip is, in fact, very smartly centered and then arched, making it very comfortable. Yeah, you can feel it, but it's flat. It's super comfortable. It's like, it's as close as it can possibly be to being disappearing, which is pretty darn great. It is also it is a low profile clip. I do kind of wish that there was a little bit more rise in there, or maybe they thinned out the front. But it's got good flex. It's just, it is a little bit, it's not a super tall clip. You're not going to have fun getting the super thick stuff, or getting it into the super thick pants. That is the one downside. I will admit that. I guess there is a single downside, and that is that the clip is not tall. It prioritizes comfort. It works just fine. You'll definitely be able to get it in the pocket, but you might not be able to get it all the way up. It goes pretty deep if you can get it all the way up. Like, let's see, the pants I'm wearing right now are pretty thin. Goes in really nicely, easy. And yeah, it can go all the way up in the pants I'm wearing. But as I said, thicker jeans or things with a real thick hemline might give it some issue because it is not super tall. It's also not reversible, so unfortunately, lefties, you don't get to experience this. Ha 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 ha. No, I'm kidding. If this continues to sell well, maybe they'll do a left-handed version. Like I said, they've done one run of this. It recently came out, or relatively recently came out, and it's sold out. So apparently people have gotten enough of awareness of it to buy it, because it's definitely cool. Cool design, really cool hidden little Vanax steel. Also, titanium pocket clip, and hold on, where are the... Is the liners... Okay, the liners are steel. Yeah, okay. I figured they would be. That'd be crazy if they were titanium liners and they were still under $100, but no. Titanium liners with some milling for weight reduction inside. It's not heavy. Great ratios. Cool look. This is kind of, for me, this is a whole package. Also, good lopper axis. I mean, look at all this. Basically, from here to here is just lock bar access. I do tend to go up here, and you can still get it from the side. I tend to go up high just because, you know, I don't necessarily want this tip coming down on me. But it is also a controlled enough drop that it's slow. And the action is really, really good. It is centered. There is no play. Yeah, it's comfortable. It's contoured. It's... Other than, I guess, maybe a taller clip being something that could be nice if you're going to put it in something thicker for the pants. This is a total package. I am not actually going to complain about anything here. So, clip and maybe a more discernible plunge grind, though I'm pretty sure it's really good. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a problem. So, this is a good knife, and it comes in at $99, I think, just under $100, which for what you're getting here with solid execution, absolutely worth checking out. As I said, I will link it down below. I don't know if they're going to be doing more runs of them. I hope they do. I might get a second one just because it's that nice. And maybe carrying it a little bit more often to get a little bit more of experience, because I'm not going to be as hesitant to sharpen this Van X as I would on a $400 knife that's I don't want to beat on. So it might also give me an opportunity to experience Van X, which is another benefit. Interesting look, interesting design, solid execution, very interesting materials for what you're getting at this price point. There's basically nothing competing with it. And hopefully Miguron managed to get this thing to around 60, because Van X is fine there. The Helldorado from Azusa Blade Works is pretty friggin' awesome, and I'm going to leave it on that. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.